The Green Knights are the best shooting team in the nation. They've made 56% of their shots all year. This game is not in Seattle, where the Seahawks are 26-2 in the Russell Wilson era. It's at Lambeau Field. The Packers complete a Hail Mary to force overtime, but then lose the coin toss and lose the game just 3 plays later. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. The Packers need a tight end and an inside linebacker. 5-0 for just the second time since Vince Lombardi left town. The streak is over, 24-1. The Bucks beat the Warriors to stop the best start in NBA history. But the biggest story today was Jordan Spieth, the Masters and U.S. Open champion, climbing the leaderboard to contend in yet another major. The Badgers have already achieved a school record 35 wins, but here at the Final Four, that's not going to impress their competition. Every time a ball leaves the yard at Miller Park, Bertie Brewer knows it's slide time.
Ryan Braun just hit a 3-run shot out of here!
Green Bay had no great expectations when the season began, but instead of growing pains, they experienced a growth spurt, reaching the NCAA tournament for the first time in 20 years. Invisible in non-conference play, Greg Mays has showed up. Go ahead, call them the St. Norbert Sharpshooters. You've always had notoriety for some of those toe-tapping catches. I brought along some clips for you. You got the toe tapper for a touchdown in St. Louis. You have the spinning corkscrew that got a lot of notoriety in New York. And this one, after not playing in the preseason, you opened the season in San Fran with that amazing catch. And then you do a little tap dance show in Cincinnati. This next one, I like to call this the, oh, I've done it again, Jordy Nelson against Detroit. I know you've been asked about it before, but what goes into making those catches week after week?
For the most part, I focus on the ball, let the feet go dead, and just try to drag them up. I mean, every one of them is different, and sometimes you're able to look down to see, where to place your feet. Sometimes it's just off instincts, and honestly, sometimes you get lucky.
Do you do anything besides just football drills to work on your footwork ever?
I don't. I've never taken ballet. I know it used to always either be the joke or the old school way, working on footwork was to take ballet. Never done anything like that. I can't dance to save my life. That
was my next segue, of course. Lynn Swan, famous for practicing ballet.
Never been a dancing man. Ask the wife that, no, I don't ever go on the dance floor. But yeah, I mean, there's some similarities. Obviously, pointing the toes and dragging them a little bit, they do that, but it's something I've never tried out and probably won't.
At first glance, Little Chute's Parker Weingard looks like every other basketball player. But then you realize he only has one hand.
I developed a blood clot when I was inside my mom, and from there it just stopped growing, I guess. They knew before I was born that I was gonna be missing my left hand.
Parker doesn't remember exactly when he started to realize that he was different, but he does remember the pain that realization brought.
It kind of frustrated me a little bit. I did ask my parents and my grandparents why I had only one hand and why I was different, and they just told me that's how God created me, and from that point when they told me that, I was good with it.
Weingard has used a no-excuses approach, working tirelessly to excel in the sport he loves.
Try and try and try and don't ever give up. That's kind of what my motto is in life.
Despite his handicap, Weingard was always destined to play basketball. In fact, his very first word as an infant, an indicator of his future.
Ball was actually my first word. It wasn't mom or dad. It was ball. It was kind of just fate. Through my whole life, basketball was such a big part of my life that it was easy to stick with it. It was kind of a pet peeve when I was younger that kids wouldn't respect that I could play basketball as well as them, and I think it really pushed me to be better.
Parker is a sharpshooter and has become the Mustangs' second leading scorer. And he's not just a one-trick pony. He can take the ball to the hole as well.
It really shows if anybody in the world has to overcome a challenge. If you put your mind to it and you work hard throughout your life, that you could get where you want to be.
Parker's first love will always be basketball, but he will continue his running career at the college level. The track star has run a 4:29 mile and is a cross-country standout as well. Dave Schroeder, Action 2 Sports. The Packers and Vikings vie for the NFC North title tomorrow. It's Green Bay's third straight winner-takes-the-division season finale. Despite practicing this week, concussed cornerback Sam Shields has been downgraded to doubtful to play. He will likely miss a third straight game. However, B.J. Raji has been upgraded to probable to play 1 week after his concussion. Aaron Rodgers is much healthier now than in Week 17 last year, but his stats have been hurt by the absence of Jordy Nelson, his deep ball threat.
We just don't have that element of our offense.
The Phoenix fly into conference play today. New head coach Link Darner looking to leave his mark in the Horizon League. Green Bay ranks number 2 in the entire nation in steals per game, second only to Virginia, of course coached by former Green Bay standout Tony Bennett. Green Bay opening Horizon League play against conference newcomer Northern Kentucky. In the first half, tied at 27, Anthony Brown goes baseline and finds a cutting Charles Cooper for the slam. That's part of a 17-2 run for the Phoenix. Then Carrington Love with the thievery. There's a steal, the klepto, the RP40, that relentless pressure for 40 minutes working today. Green Bay up 10 at the half. In the second half, Jamar Hurdle cleans up his own garbage. Phoenix up by 23. It's their largest lead of the game. Green Bay forces 18 turnovers, and the Phoenix open conference play with an 86-70 win. Cooper led all scorers with 19 points.
Sometimes that first one's the toughest one.
The Badgers looking for their first Big Ten win today, hosting Rutgers. Bronson Koenig spins and wins with the jumper. The Badgers up by 9, that part of a 12-2 run. Late in the first half, that's not a shot, that's a pass to Khalil Iverson, the alley-oop for a 9-point lead. Just before the first half horn, Vito Brown pushes the lead to 11 at the break. Second half, Zach Showalter, he put on a show. He and Ethan Happ, money today. Showy 8 for 8 from the floor, 4 for 4 on threes. Happ only missed one shot himself. He had a double-double, and the Badgers win by 22, 79-57. Marquette at Georgetown. The Golden Eagles would have some sensational plays from sophomore Sandy Cohen from right down the street in Seymour. But would it be enough? The slam in the first half, but Marquette still down 10. That was a sign of things to come for Cohen. The steal the other way, the slam, but they're still down 14. Uphill battle on the road. Cohen drives the lane with authority. The Golden Eagles within 6 with about a minute to play, but Devontae Smith-Rivera helps seal the deal for Georgetown. Marquette falls to 0-2 in Big East play. 80-70 was the final. Well, it's Green Bay versus Minnesota tomorrow in football. The Bucs in Minnesota tonight. After trailing by 8 in the second, the Deer go on a 10-0 run. Chris Middleton's 3 gives them the lead. Second half, John Henson, heck yes. The Bucs win by 10, 95-85. And how about some hockey? The Gamblers, first place in the USHL Eastern Conference, facing the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. Already 1-0 when Brett Gruber from Appleton lights the lamp. 2-0, 10 minutes in. The Rough Riders get one back 2 minutes later. It's Matt Philippe skating in with speed to get it past Kevin Reich. But tonight was a special night for the Gamblers. They got 10 goals, 4 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third. That there, Matthew Berkovitz from Ashwaubenon. 10-1, the final score in a hockey game. And Cedar Rapids was in third place in the East. They're no pushover, but the Gamblers, a huge win. Yeah. Huge win tonight.